everybody. Welcome back to another stream. And I've been thinking a little bit. I don't do this very often. But I'm thinking, last stream, for example, I just didn't talk very much. I had nothing to talk about, and so I just started kind of spouting mumbo-jumbo about the game. And I'm like, how could we make our mumbo-jumbo better? Yes. We could choose a topic that I am nowhere near qualified to talk about, and then just kind of go on a rant about it, essentially. Today, and pretty much every day, it's going to be philosophy, because I like it, and it's what I do my other videos on, and it's something that I enjoy. That was the first point. But kind of today, I've been thinking, and I'm like, what am I going to talk about? How am I gonna keep an entertaining pace to the stream and possibly the video? Well, I'm just gonna go straight into a crazy ass question. Free will. Does that mean God's bad? Whoa. Okay, first off, we're gonna take this in good faith. I am going to say a couple things. We're not debating God's existence. That's not the purpose of the speech. It has nothing to do with that. For the sake of the discussion, I'm just going to assume that he is real and that you believe in him. For the most part, I'm taking this to mean like the Christian God. God, capital G, all that jazz. I don't know Buddhism. I'm not a Taoist. I do not know religions other than Christianity well enough to even attempt commenting on them. But I'm also not going to disclose whether or not I believe in these things or not. Doesn't really matter for the sake of the argument. I'm just going to talk about how, or for example, there is a fairly common debate that I hear about like the goodness of a higher deity and whether or not, free will and the capacity for evil and their unwillingness to stop it makes them bad. And it pretty commonly, the answer that seems to be arrived at is, yeah, I mean, it's like they basically hit you with the duh. And I'm like, I don't think it's quite that simple. In my head, there's kind of two sides to this. What is good? And even if you can describe that, which I don't want to be mean, but like it's kind of like a child thinking that like what's good for me must be good. It's like, well, you've no fucking idea. And I'm not saying every human on planet Earth is a child. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you are going to talk about the existence of a God Almighty, then you can't just be like, well, I know better than him because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, if you're going to come at the debate with the idea of, God Almighty exists and whether or not he is good, it's like, well, he probably knows more than you. If we're going to start there, like, he created the universe, if we're starting the argument with he is real. And even if not, I don't know that everyone's definition of good is the same thing. It's like, he polices my version of good, and I don't know. I don't know what my version of good would be comparatively to someone else's, but I can assure you some people's version of good would not fit the common version of good. It's like some dude's version of good, it's like, well, God ain't good if he ain't getting rid of the colors. It's like, well, no. So even if you can approach this debate and say, well, I've found the good, like the objective good, wouldn't that, like, discredit free will? And my question there is, like, is free will worth evil? And, like, I think that's a valid question, theoretically. I think the answer is yes, but I think it's a valid question to ask, to say, maybe being free is not worth it because of the, detriment that it will create. And that's, like, to a degree something that we think about in daily society. How much policing do you want? Because you want to be safe, but at some point you start throwing away, you know, your freedoms to have a safer society, and that just is true. It's like, well, you know, they should police speech because, you know, we don't want people to incite things. It's like, well, okay, you're giving up freedom. And again, I'm not saying whether or not that's a bad thing. I think in that case it is, but in a lot of cases, I get it. I feel like searching for safety in a world where chaos is inherent is valid. I think that's fairly human. But that doesn't mean that, like, certainty is all good necessarily, or that it should be enforced by an almighty ruler, and if it's not, the almighty ruler is evil. That feels a bit disingenuous. And then, circling back, no offense, who the fuck are you to say God's wrong? I'm not God, I have no idea. Like, bro, if we're approaching this as, again, God is just real, like, that's something we're taking in this debate, he knows more than I do. Homie created the world. Like, what? You know, sometimes you're like, oh, you know, my parents know more than me, because, like, they've lived longer. And I've thought that. I've even thought the opposite sometimes. Not because they've lived longer, but for various reasons. But this is, like, to a whole nother degree. Like, he created your parents and your parents' parents. Like, to a degree, you just have to understand that you're not going to be... You can't solve this question as a human, I feel. And I get it. There's the search of, like, well, why do bad things happen? It's like, well, because free will. I mean, I think that's... And you could say, well, he knew all the bad things were going to happen, so why would he give us free will? It's like, again, I think we circle back to, well, A, if you approach God as, like, an almighty being, does he even... I don't know, did he always make the choice? I don't know. That's weird, because he's a being, like, outside of time. His perception of things is completely different. I don't know, okay? I'm not God, but... What the hell was I saying? Approaching it from the direction of... Oh, yeah. So saying, like, well, it's bad because free will... Like, he gave us free will knowing what would happen. It's like... Yes... Would you rather not have free will? I think that's a valid question. I don't think that's a question I'm going to answer today. I don't even think I'm going to really use on it. There's no real point in that one. I don't think there's much of a debate. That's just a personal, like, feeling, you know? Do you think that free will is worth evil? And if not, then that's fair. If so, I think that's also fair. I mean, I think all of the debate, all of the sides of the debate are fairly fair. Like, it's not, I don't think anything that I've seen, personally, is just completely throwing something off and just kind of being disingenuous to one side or the other. I haven't really personally seen that. Sometimes I do feel like, I feel like some sides take a bit of haughtiness that you inherently take into the debate if you think that there isn't a God, and that oftentimes is what I see. It's like someone, saying, well, why would he let bad thing happen? And it's like, I mean, yeah, you're right. And there's something where it's just like, I don't really have a counter to that, because there doesn't seem like there's any growth or planning, and it's like, I don't get, like, why would, like, a kid get cancer? Like, what's the point in that? I understand the point of, like, pain in one's life. I get it. Well, I don't entirely get it. I don't know God's plan, but I understand the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger type thought. But I do see where it's just like, what's the point in the thing that does kill you? What's the point in the thing that, you know, kills the person that doesn't have the chance to grow stronger? It's like, well, I don't know. But I think all around it's a pretty interesting debate. I mean, you can't... Again, I don't personally think that you can realistically say what is actually good and what is actually bad. And so I feel like to actually enter into the debate, you have to already kind of presume that you and other person or you and other, you know, sect or whatever two entities are debating, you have the same idea of good. Because it's like, even if that very simple fact is wrong, you can't really go about the debate in a logical way. I mean, there's a fallacy inherent to the debate, which I think is inherent the whole time. Because, again, I don't think you're able to actually say what is objectively good and what is objectively bad. Now, there are some things where it's just like, again, and this goes back to like, why do kids get cancer? That seems like objectively bad. And it's not, and that, for one, is like, that's not an evil thing. That's just a bad thing. But that's like, because my point earlier is, or was, free will is, you know, free will, the choice for evil essentially makes good better. You know, if you do not have the capacity to do the bad thing, then when you do the right thing, it doesn't really matter. It's like, that's what you always would have done, because there is no other option. And so, you know, the choice to be, the people who are saints because they could have been evil. If everyone was not evil and perfectly saintly, then saints wouldn't exist. But, you know, that doesn't discredit the fact of, like, why do things happen that just don't have any lesson, almost. Like, it's like, or not lesson, because I don't think all evil has a lesson necessarily. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a topic I'd have to look into and think about specifically. But I don't think that everything has a lesson. It's like, what do you take from, I don't know, what do you take from, there's a lot of things I probably shouldn't say. What do you take from a lot of things? It feels like there's a lot of things that you just say, what do you take from a murder? It's like, what's the lesson? What am I supposed to learn? Defend myself better? Defend the person I wasn't there to defend? But there is a point to pain, is essentially my overarching point. Whenever you go through, you know, hard times in life, you come out the other side, maybe you don't come out stronger. I mean, not every person does. Not every person comes out the other side and thinks, fuck, I'm gonna be better because of this, you know, this bad action that I took. Even if it was you taking a bad action. Sometimes it's not even you taking a bad action. Sometimes the world just fucking shits on you. And I'm like, well, I mean, I assume you're supposed to grow stronger. But even in that case, I'm like, why? What's the point? But even saying all this, I don't, again, think that it discredits, or, no. I don't think that it gives credence to, like, God is evil because he does not fix all wrongs. I think... Oh. I mean, I think I don't know, obviously. But if you do presume to know, please comment down below. Let me know how wrong I am about every point that I've said. Please. It's an interesting question that I could just go back and forth for about, you know, a million hours for. It's like, every side of it makes a lot of sense. Even just the human side of, like, wanting to have an enemy. I say wanting to have an enemy, that's probably the wrong way to phrase it. People inherently rally behind a common enemy. And so if you can have the enemy of, you know, the highest enemy of all, I feel like that would be a... I mean, it's a somber thought. Like, it's not exactly fun. You don't think, oh, God's evil, and then go, oh, I guess, you know, that's great. I'm actually going to go about my life even better tomorrow. It's like, well, that sounds like a terrible. But it's like it's a depressing thought, but it's a, uniting thought? Because if he's evil, it's like, well, then it makes sense. I don't know, it's a reassuringly, or it's a depressingly reassuring thought. It gives reason to all the bad things. It's like, well, he's evil. Makes sense. He wanted all of this to happen. Just come back to earlier, as I was talking about, people want safety, you know? I mean, we live in societies partially because people want safety. People want physical safety, emotional safety, you know. They want societal safety. I guess that's more of a term that I just made it the fuck up. But in that, I'm kind of talking about, you want community, right? You want a place to belong, which is inherently, in my mind, kind of, you know, it's a safety thing. You want the safety of your people around you. I think that just becomes a debate of personal choice then. What is more important to you? Safety or free will? Which I think is an incredibly interesting question on its own. I mean, you know, consider that. What to you is the most important thing in life? What makes you a person? Is it your free will? Question. I don't know. I would probably say yes. I say probably because this one I had no plans for. I don't know what I would think of this one. I would say yes. I mean, I do not think that. Well, I mean, here's the interesting thing. You know, if God's confirmed, then you can have a confirmed purpose above oneself. You don't need to create it. And then the purpose of free will is moot, possibly. So if God is confirmed, then maybe I give up free will. I mean, obviously you don't give up free will because you wouldn't have free will in the first place, I assume. It's like you see the atrocities of the human race. Does that make you want to not have humans be human? Do you consider free will as what makes a human human? To a point, I say yes. Our ability to create our purpose is inherent to our purpose. Part of the point of being here, in my mind, is figuring out why the fuck you're here. Otherwise, you'd know it. Presumably. Maybe there is no point at all. Maybe the musings aren't... We don't have... That's what the scientists say. I say, boo-hoo, you're ruining my fun. It's like, all of this is just a chemical process. It's like, yeah, I guess, probably. It's just such a fun... such an unfun thing to think about. It's like, well, okay, I guess. Yeah, maybe. And I mean, I guess it's not really supposed to be fun. I guess neither is philosophy, but science is not really intended for, you know, fun, per se. But I'd say that's just a depressing thought. I mean, I don't know. I don't like to go down the whole scientific route of, well, you just don't have free will, so it doesn't matter. It's like, well, okay. And then that actually poses a completely different question. If you don't have free will, you know, is evil actually evil? Are you just doing what your brain tells you to do? I mean, you are your brain. There's no separation between you and your brain if you don't think there is free will. Oh yeah, I guess that's technically not true. You could still believe in a soul and then also believe that there is like a god controlling you and pulling all of your strings. That is technically a thought you can have. It's not what I've heard commonly explored, but it doesn't make sense. But I think it's a pretty hard thing to answer of like, if you want to say that God is evil for not righting all of the wrongs, then you do kind of inherently have to say free will is wrong. Like, it was wrong to give you the choice to kill that person. Like, okay, that's fair. So it was wrong to give you choice? I think that's a kind of... I don't know, that's kind of sad to me. A little bit. I get it. I understand you don't want that person to be killed. It's fair. Like, I get it. You want to fucking scream at the sky and say, why give us free will if this is what we'll do with it? You know what we'll do with it. Because in the case of God, it's like, again, if you assume, like, almighty Christian God, all that jazz, who knows what's gonna happen? He planned this shit. So then, why did he do this? Why did he see this all and still go, yep, I'll make the choice to give free will? Now, I think that there's also a slightly smaller theory. To say, like, maybe Almighty isn't quite as almighty as it, like, think it is. And this kind of, this brings me back, or not brings me back, it kind of brings me back. I watched a movie recently called Disclosure Day. It's a new movie. I will probably be spoiling a little bit of it. There's aliens. I assume anyone going to see that movie, they know that. But there's a kind of, not question, but there's a, I don't know, a thought posed that the aliens are like godlike, or kind of seen as godlike, because their technology and their ability to, like, empathize, essentially, is just, it's completely just so much higher than humans. They understand the universe at a level that we basically can't even fathom. Oh, hi there. And, you know, the point is brought up of, like, we thought they were gods, essentially, or, like, or I can't remember if it kind of posits the theory that, like, the aliens were God. I don't remember if that was actually a plot point. Or if it was just kind of positing that, oh no, like people think of them as God. Like it's a go see the movie, but people think of the aliens as like gods or something akin to gods because they're so much bigger and more powerful than them that, to a degree, I mean, what else are you supposed to think? I mean, I think thinking of the unexplainable as immediately ethereal is a bit of a cop-out for most people, but I don't think it's an intentional cop-out. I think it's a very human one to think of something that you can't explain and say, well, okay, it must be unexplainable. It also seems a bit haughty, like I said earlier. Oh, please. Stop! Good boy. Stop! Yeah, free will. Question of, human significance. It's actually a question of a lot of things, I feel. Question of, do you have free will? The question of, is it worth it? It's all valid and interesting questions. I'm gonna personally say, I have no idea. I have no fucking clue. I don't know whether it's real. I'm gonna say, I think it is. I mean, I think that I am more than just my brain. Maybe that's just copium. But I don't think this little, you know, barrel of Jello that I got on top of my torso is all that there is to me. Could be wrong though. No idea. Perfectly cleared that while talking. Kind of. Had to go a bit silent there so I didn't fucking die. I think to a degree, the question of is free will worth it is the same question of safety versus, you know, freedom. I mean, it is literally the same question. Should humans have the capacity for evil if they're so susceptible to using it? To falling into it? To being evil? I think that's an interesting question. Does committing an evil action inherently make you evil? What is evil? I think that, again, there's the incredibly always cop-out answer of, well, you know, what is evil? It's defined differently by so many people. And I agree. I get it. It's just, I don't know. I feel it's a bit, not disingenuous to the argument. It's, yes, I get that the argument's flawed. Ignore it, is essentially the point here. But I pointed that out earlier. I think it's very valid. To say, you know, a person is evil, like, okay, the person is evil to you. And I don't want to say that... I'm not trying to say that people who, you know, do bad things are good people. But I think the term evil itself is a bit more complicated than that. It's not just whether the person committed an evil act. Because someone could commit what is seen as an evil act for a good reason. You know, you can kill for self-defense. You can kill for another person. Or for, the defense of another. I mean, you could kill technically in, like, retaliation for another. I don't necessarily think that would be a good thing. I don't know if I would call that... I mean, I wouldn't call that evil. Like, I don't think that is an evil action. Do I think it's the right action? Depends on the situation. My answer would probably be no. Revenge isn't going to solve your pain. Whoa. Oh, I was cursed. Damn, I forgot. It's like the age-old anime trope of everybody going after revenge. And I'm like, well, that's not gonna solve it. Hey there. In the sewers? Okay. Oh. I think it's all very, very interesting. I think the questions themselves are completely unsolvable, especially by a dude in his room playing Dead Cells. But they're fun to muse on, especially for the guy in his room playing Dead Cells. And I think you could kind of extrapolate the question to the smaller version of the question, you know, like, what is the degree of, what is the degree of, like, social stability that you are willing to sacrifice? What degree of, freedom? Like, are you personally willing to give up, you know, freedom of speech for... Okay, I have literally no idea why freedom of speech would make it better. It wouldn't. I can say right now that I am 99.9% positive taking away freedom of speech in any act or in any way is a terrible idea. That is a bad move. I mean, taking it away to a bigger degree than we have it in, like, the US. Because I think, there's a point when freedom of speech isn't really freedom of speech anymore. It's just either, like, it's not you being an asshole. It's not what I was gonna say. Or that's what I was gonna say. It's not what I meant. There's a point when, like, threats, you know, we already say no to those. I agree with that. I don't think you should be able to actually threaten people. That's a bad thing. And then there's arguments of, like, no, I'm not gonna go very deep into these, or what I would classify as these things. But it's like, you know, people want to say you should, like, maybe get rid of hate speech. It's like, to a degree, I understand the sentiment and I agree, but this comes back to the what is evil question. Ding, ding, ding! It always comes back to the what is evil question. It's like, what is hate speech? I don't fucking know. I have no idea. That is an enemy. Sure. It always comes back to the what is evil, though. I mean, yeah, I'm not commenting on what I think is hate speech or what I do not think is hate speech. There's literally no side that you can take in that battle that will win. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. But the fact of the matter is that I can't define that. I can define it for me. Maybe I can define it for most people. I don't know. I don't know if most people do agree with me. I don't know what fucking most people think. And even if I did know what most people think, probably a bad idea to silence the minority. I mean, even if it is like 51-49, or that's not what I meant. Even if it's like 80-20, you know, even if it is a big gap between what most people think, I don't think you would want to silence quote-unquote hate speech from the minority. I don't think that that would be the solution. Because eventually, that minority, whatever they were, whatever they said, whatever was, you know, whatever... What the hell? Okay. Thanks. Eventually, you know, hate would rise up, or simmer, it would rise up, it would explode. And you would just have a terrible, terrible situation from all sides. You know, that causes, like, civil wars and shit. I'm not saying there are no things that you should not say. Especially in a public setting. You should watch your mouth. I mean, I don't think it's particularly beneficial to be hateful in any given way. It's like, sure, you might disagree with a person. I disagree with a lot of people. I disagree with most people on something. As you probably should, if you're a thinking human being. But most of my, you know, most of my thoughts are just, they're just regular. They're just normal. And I don't think that if someone disagrees with me, that even if they are a hateful person, even if they're saying, I'm just gonna say something like everybody can agree with, most people can agree with anyway. You know, say they just start calling like black people, you know, the N-word and all that. They just start talking about how like they commit all crime or some shit like that. Like, that's fucking stupid. Like, I disagree with you, but I'm not going to approach you with hate, because you know what that's not gonna solve? Your hate. Fighting fire with fire only burns more fucking bushes. And Australia has too many a burnt bush already. I should have kept the kunai. Alright. I think we're kind of reaching a crescendo in the real world of, like, what do we... I mean, partially we don't have a choice. But the world overall is reaching the point of, is it better to have, like, innovation be stifled, like in Europe? Talking about specifically AI. They have fairly... They have some pretty stringent, like, restrictions on AI, which, to a degree, I get it. I understand that. But they also have... I'm spouting knowledge off top dome. Don't quote me. But they don't have very many big, like, AI companies. I mean, if you look, the top, you know, 10 companies in AI are probably American or Chinese. I say probably, because I haven't, like, looked that up. I'll be honest, I'm going off a vibe on that one. Everything that I've heard would back that up. Oh. Commando outfit. Okay. Yeah. I think those were some pretty interesting questions that I posed and proceeded to just fucking blather on about for almost an hour. And it's a lot better, even to me, I'll be honest. That was more entertaining than sitting in silence for fucking an hour. Or sitting in silence with music that gets fucking DMCA'd. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, the reason that there is a point of, like, muted audio in the first episode of Dead Cells, I think it also happened on, like, episode, like, 4 or something of Subnautica, is because at the current time, I'm still being a silly goofy goose and using exclusively Streamlabs. I don't actually, like, record these things. I just Streamlabs and then download the VOD, which is kind of sort of problematic, because if there's any music that gets, like, messed up, or not messed up, but caught in the system of Twitch, even if it isn't copyright, then it just gets muted in the VOD, and there's nothing I can do about. I mean, I can go through a whole process and I can, like, get it like looked at, but A, I don't want to, and B, it's just not that important. Like, I lost a couple minutes of audio, and realistically, I wasn't talking about anything. The game wasn't creating any real sound. It's just, you know, as an explanation for those that wanted to get what was going on there. I feel like that's the guy who takes me to a DLC. Could be wrong, don't really remember. Honestly, don't even remember if it was a DLC eventually. Will be taken. I was watching an Atrioc video earlier, and he was kind of talking about, I think it was a video about his, like, 2025 predictions, which, I know, I'm like a year and a half late. It doesn't really matter. I'm not watching them for, like, advice. I just think he's cool. But at the end, he had just this really good message that I thought was pretty sweet. I mean, you know, he did the whole, like, what's the word? I mean, it's overdone, but it's the bit of, you know, this is the year of you. It's like, well, okay. But I think it was a pretty good message. I mean, he was essentially just saying that you can't control everything. And that's kind of, like, I made that point a little bit earlier. You don't have control over everything. You're not God. And so, you just gotta do what makes you happy, A, and B, you gotta do what, do what's best for you, but you gotta make your own life better. You don't, as like, kind of harsh it is to say, and I'm not trying to give you the pick yourself up by your bootstraps type shit. I've been given that a lot. I get it. It's fucking annoying. Like, to a degree, it doesn't really matter if the world is bad or not. They're right. Because you can't just kind of keep sitting around and wallowing that the world is bad. Sure. Sure, it is. There's war and poverty and, I don't know, famine, assumedly. And disease, etc. But you can't go through your whole life and just, you know, fear that and make that your entire personality. And, not do anything to make your own life better. I've definitely fallen into that trap. I mean, I get it. I made a fucking video about it. I mean, kind of. I made a video about it. Victims burn in the eye is good. I made a video talking about how important community was and how you can instill these terrible thoughts in your mind by being alone. You can instill them by just not doing anything, too. You can just instill them, I mean, kind of inherently. If you're not doing anything, you'll end up being alone. And that's kind of a scary thought for me. Because I try and get out and do shit. You know, I go out with my friends all the time, but I still feel like I'm gonna end up alone in it sometimes. Like, fucking shit happens. But that doesn't mean you get to give up, and that doesn't mean that the entire world is bad. There's no reason to keep going. I mean, I can't give you a reason. I just fucking go back. I did. As I said earlier, I feel like part of the point of the human experience is coming up with your own reason. Yeah, I feel like that's a bit cheesy and a bit of a cop-out, but I don't know why you live. I have no idea. You might live because you're a father. You might live because, you know, you're... Is that the Hollow Knight bug? What's he doing up there? What was I saying? Oh, I cannot give you your purpose. You know, you can muse on your own purpose in your own time. I'll muse on mine all the time. It's a consideration within one's life. Different people are going to have different, you know, points or purposes. Different people are going to have different purposes, theoretically. I think one's purpose is created by oneself, and so if you have a purpose, it is because you made it. And to a degree, I think that's even true of, like, people who have religions. Like, you can say that God made your purpose, sure, and to a degree, there's an argument that you know, you can make if you assume for the sake of argument that God is real. You say, well, yeah, because God is, you know, everything. He is creator and all, etc. Yeah, God is the purpose of life. But I think there's a point to even, you know, say there. It's like, well, the point of your life is to be faithful. Like, the point of your life is to be a follower of God. I don't know, man. The human experience, dog. The human experience is that we're constantly evolving. But we're not always evolving forwards. Human experience is about whether or not you're evolving forwards or backwards for this given Tuesday. And my answer is, ask me tomorrow. I don't want to evolve forward today. I want to watch Skibbity Toilet BrainiZach. You know, I'm not a Skibbity Toilet watcher, but I've heard that it's a masterpiece of film. Of animation. I am an anime watcher, so, you know, maybe Skibbity Toilet is the next best thing. I hate the line of talking that I've gone down. The Black Bridge. Oh, there's a scroll of power up there. Hey. Get your fucking bots out of my chat. Go away. We don't want you here. You know, this is completely unrelated to almost anything I've talked about today. But I don't remember who said this. But I was watching a video, and they discussed a point where there were a bunch of TikTok videos, I think a couple of years ago, kind of surfacing about, like, clankers, which, you know, like AI, you know, this quote-unquote slur for, like, AI and robots and all that shit. And they're like, it's just thinly veiled, like, racism. Like, they just want to be racist. It's like, I don't know. Maybe, like, to a degree that might be like a, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a bad faith interpretation. I feel like the people were probably angry at AI or angry at, like, robots and all that. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess if you try and make that argument, then do you make the same argument of, like, actual racism? And I don't think that's a valid argument. I don't think being angry at, you know, a small subsect of, like, black people gives you the authority to be a hating person of all of them. I don't know. Does AI get the same grace? It's not human. Does it matter? Can you be racist to animals? I feel like I'm being maybe a bit disingenuous about the spirit of the question here. It really just, I think it's just about, you know, more him. I think it was a. Yeah, I'm not gonna attempt to remember who it was. I feel like there's something over there. Am I just crazy? Alright, I guess I'm insane. My interpretation of their argument is also probably a bit bad faith. But I feel like that's kind of my whole point, is like, I feel like, not that, but my whole point is that it seems like a bad faith interpretation to say that the people were just like, they wanted to be racist and so they were racist against AIs. It's like, well, I don't know. I feel like it's maybe because they don't like AIs and it's frankly funny to make fun of them. I don't know. I tout myself as a non-racist. But I thought they were funny. The videos about like AIs, it's like, I don't know. I don't like AI either. I think it's kind of funny. They showed a video, they showed like a TikTok video. I'm not gonna try and put that person on blast either, but I feel like that video they showed, they're like, oh, you know, it's just racism, but it's like against AIs. Like, yeah. I mean, to a degree, that's correct. Like, I'm not gonna debate that part. I just kind of figure it's not evil to hate AIs. I don't know. It doesn't feel evil to hate AIs. goody. You bastard! Oh, yes! Perfect again! Let's go! That was good. That was good. I feel like, back to what I was saying. If you go down that path, if you go down the path of, you know, AI, or, you know, making fun of blank is bad because it, like, references the idea of making fun of, like, X. I don't know. That feels a bit... I guess I'd have to really think about that question to know if I actually agree with that or not, because to a degree, they might be right, and I might have just kind of ignored... I don't want to say ignored the racism, because again, I don't really think it is genuinely racist. Like, it's not actually racism. It's against AI. But if the spirit is in kind of normalizing that way to talk, in trying to get it into the mainstream so that... I don't... That doesn't feel like... I mean... Whoopsie daisy. Maybe my problem here is that I'm thinking about it as, like, an intelligent person attempting to bring back racism. And that's not really what they were saying. But, I mean... I'll probably have to find the video and rewatch it, because now I'm kind of interested in what they actually said to see more about why I could be wrong, and why I might be being a bit disingenuous unintentionally. But it kind of just feels like the way we joke about everything. I mean, you could say we're in a society where, you know, joking about just anything has become too commonplace, and that's a fair argument. I honestly don't personally agree with it. I think satire and parody are incredibly important to the way that we understand the world and the way that we can consume things in a way that wouldn't fucking destroy our psyche. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're supposed to destroy your psyche. I don't know. But I do get it. I'm just like, I'm thinking, like, we make jokes about 9/11 and shit. It's like, what? Do we think we shouldn't make those? And in a certain spirit, I feel like those videos were almost making fun of racism. Like, to a degree, it's so, like, comical, and you see it in a way that you would normally see it, or not normally see it. You see... The video that was showed was, like, what racism probably would have looked like in, like, a 1980s diner. Or, like a 1960s diner. And, you know, you're just talking about, like, in the video, it's about the clankers. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being bad faith, maybe they're being bad faith. Maybe neither of us are, and I'm just dumb. Real possible. Especially because as I'm playing this game, every 5 seconds, I get into a fight where I have to think about the game, and then I immediately lose my train of thought. And I have to fucking backtrack like 10 minutes and try and figure out what I was talking about. Real brain rot. That's what that is. That's what that is. It's also why people talk about the game they're playing, and not a random fucking philosophical dumbass spot while they're playing video games on stream. It's okay, it's okay. I'm a new breed. A stupid breed. You can always come here for my stupid takes and my attempted to be good faith discussions about philosophy and probably at some point politics. I will be honest, I'm attempting to avoid that, but I am politically active and I, to a degree, enjoy politics. So that will probably come up at some point. I'm gonna attempt to keep even then I'm gonna attempt to keep as neutral as I can. God gamer over here. I think I said this on the first episode, but this is probably like my least survived like map on oh, my goodness. In the entire game. Like this map blows so much ass. I do not like this map, mostly because I am bad at it. I'm not taking the curse chest if it is a curse chest. I'm not doing it. I will actually get myself killed, and I would like to get maybe a BC. But at least hopefully get some progress in this DLC. Because I've been wearing the cultist gear for a couple of runs now, trying to get progress, and I've been failing pretty miserably. I want to say it's been mostly because of like because of curses, but I can't guarantee that I wasn't just trash and just died from dumb shit last episode. I don't really remember. Nope. Right. Undying Shores, baby! That's what I like to see. Yeah, no fucking way I hit that. some HP back, please. Alright. Nine chores. I would like those guys' weapons. I think it would be cool. But who knows? Who knows what's cool and what's not? No, I'm just kidding. You know, if I'm gonna... Whoa. I didn't know we could do that. I'm gonna debate what's cool or what's not cool. I gotta do it in this one. I don't know, man. I don't know what's cool and what's not, bro. I mean, like, I don't even know who decides those things. Like, totally, dude. I feel like you decide for yourself what's cool, man. Literally, as I said earlier, you decide for yourself what's evil. You decide for yourself your purpose. Oh, I'm sensing a theme here. Okay. What the freak? Oh. What's up here? Really familiar. Is that me? Why did I come in here? Very cool. You know, honestly, I don't even fucking like the twin daggers. No, thank you. I'll use the bleed sword. I know it's probably worse. I mean, actually, I don't know. I got a pretty decent setup to be using the bleed sword. Okie smoky, buddy. That seems like a symbol. Eyeball flower. Okay, no items or anything. Okay. Cool. Eyeball flower. Symbol. I presume I will see another symbol and then I will go back to the doors. Oh, that is not the enemy that I thought that was. Oopsie daisy. Yeah? Especially with the thaw and then fucking apply bleeding. I mean, that's pretty decent. I'd say that's pretty good for the setup. I'm gonna run back because I feel like I might have missed a symbol, not knowing I was looking. Do I try this way or this way? I presume. As long as I get the absolutely bananas puzzle. I feel like if I had seen it. Whoa. Okay. Would have been somewhere around here. I mean, I could just 50-50 that shit. I super want to. Huh. I'm just gonna 50-50. Hey! Hakun. Hakuna Matata. Means no worries for the rest of your days. I don't know why I thought it was at the bottom. Okay. That let me fall a really long distance. Yeah, I think Ice Bow is a pretty good off color here. Especially with the modifiers it got. He dropped his fit. What if he got on them Nikes? Doesn't. Doesn't. No one wears Nikes anymore. Very cool. Actually, you just said earlier, Mr. Streamer, you don't know what's cool. You're so right, Mr. Meat. I feel like this is going to be a pretty good unlock. Little thing in here. Unlock Frenzy, maybe. Chance. Mausoleum. Here we go. Cocoon, lightning rods, the impaler, I think. Okay. to the scarecrow. Oh, this is bad. I get it. Oh my god, please let me get a heal off. Please, leave me alone. For half a second. Got the scarecrow sickles? Yes. Yeah, okay. So I can't get through there. Yeah, I think I'm good. The setup's actually easy. I just play a little bit better. Oh yeah, this ice is gonna be crazy. Even if I get all 3 keys, if I'm gonna be able to make like the jumps required to get to the other key. I don't know if it actually can be made without like the spider. Oh. Oh, I can't even go. Okay, so I guess we'll just explore in this direction. Another door, another key. No. Oh, okay. I lied. This is the barracks. I forgot. Story stuff. Or something else that I don't understand. Another Another door, another key. Now it's correct. This time. Oh. Lost the perfect. That's so unfortunate. Yeah. Just like that. God, there's nothing to blame it on other than, you know, greed, for real. So, quick and clean kills. That's unfortunate. Okay. Let's just heal that back up. Just take a big dumb hit to the face. And this is why pro game. This is why I'll never different. My reaction time suck. Alright, third and final key. We can not only make it to, but kill the Hand of the King. Stop giving me Guardian Scroll. Gotta be to the right, right? Gotta be this one. Yeah. And no way I'm getting down there. I feel like you definitely need the spider room, because I think you can probably get up to like here. I don't think you can get up there. There's nothing on the other side, is there? We'll come back to that later. Also, probably, hopefully, with a triple jump. That would be cool. Let's unlock something. Let's unlock our cook. Alright, here we go. Throne room. I'm scared. One king. That was a really, really just dirty kill. That's a boss cell, though. That is a boss cell. Alright. I believe this also unlocks the symmetrical links. We'll watch the cutscene first time. When we get to be our head now. Forgot about that. Cells remaining. Here we go. That's what I like to see. That's progress. Alright, let's go switch up our outfit and let's end off this episode. I'd say that was a good episode. Got stuff done. Fun conversations. Fun. Where do we go again? Oh yeah, right here. Sleep. Okay, change that style. Oh, that's pretty cool too. That's the giant. Let's get out of here. Let's quit. Okay, thank you all for watching. If you are over on YouTube, check us out on BrainiZach over on Twitch. Thank you and have a beautiful day.